Hey, what's up everybody? Landan with LMR.com. We're continuing on here with kind of the door panel restoration stuff on our 1996 Bronco. Of course, what we're going to show today will be applicable for all 1992 to 1996 Broncos, as well as the 1992 to 1996 OBS trucks. Topic of the video today is we're going to kind of do a somewhat of a deep clean on our door panel here. We're going to scrub the entire surface down, or the entire door panel down, clean all the nooks and the crannies. You know, we'll blow it with some compressed air. But we're also going to remove the armrest pad, remove the speaker grille, and then I think we're also going to remove this faux wood grain trim and blend the tops of the door panel with LMR Mocha interior paint. So for starters, we'll flip it over and start with disassembly. Okay, so step one, we're going to remove the inner door belt weather strip. All you got to do is push down on this tab, slide it out of its little position here. Real easy to do. Oh, this one's really on there. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's out of the way. We're gonna pull that speaker grille next. We'll have to be real careful with this. Y'all know old plastics, they're brittle. They're very prone to cracking, but you can see all these little tabs here on the speaker grille that runs the perimeter of the grille. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna carefully start in one of the corners, and we're just gonna start releasing these tabs with our little plastic pry tool. We're gonna gently push those inward, kind of while going down as well. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Okay. Okay, so now, from what I can tell, it looks like we can carefully remove this wood grain trim. I'm going to use a little flathead screwdriver here to get up under this metal tab. I'm not going to roll it all the way vertical, just enough to where I know I can release it. Just again, older components, we want to be careful. Don't go crazy. So now we can get up in here and get this push type retainer off. We'll set this aside because we'll need it for later. Standard little issue tab, carefully roll that. Okay, there's the other one right here. In there. Okay. And then now the last two here on the end, they're similar to just all the others. All right, and then the last one right here with the little push type retainer. Again, be real gentle. And then we can work this dude up. I'm gonna push the tabs from this side towards the other direction, going out. See if we can get this thing released or if it's still being held in by something. Okay, here we go. Now it's just coming. All right, I'm gonna flip it over. Plastic pry tool. And we're gonna gently work it out of its hole. Just remember the direction of the tabs. That way you know which direction to roll this wood grain trim. Oh, look at there. There's even more tabs that I missed. Well, how about that? So there's one here, there's one here as well. Okay, so let's flip it back over. Let's see what we missed. Oh man, okay. Well, that stinks. So they're actually underneath our repair bracket here. So the likelihood of us getting those out may be difficult. If you've installed the LMR repair bracket, you may find yourself in a similar situation. But what we can do, we can gently work this, because this is metal. Oh, look at that. And there we go. Okay, so next we're gonna attack our armrest pad. You need a Phillips head screwdriver for it, preferably long reach. There's one right here. All right, next, I got a little 6mm socket on a 1/4 inch drive socket wrench. Get up in here, we'll loosen this other one. And again, this is all in an effort to preserve our jute padding here. If yours is obviously the point of no return, or at the point of no return, you don't have to micromanage just like we're doing. I think long term we'll probably replace the one on this truck, but for what we've got right now, this is what we're doing. Okay, so that's 2 screws total already. Remember, these are 6mm wrenching size. Oh, look at here, you can actually see this one. 6mm wrenching size, or Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, here's another one here at the rear. Oh, 2 at the rear. Okay, so right now we've got 5, and there's gonna be 1 more that we're gonna have to probably reach in this way. Yep, right here with the socket wrench. So 6 total, securing your armrest base to the door panel. Okay. So now we can probably, no, the armrest base is just gonna fall off. We'll set this aside. We'll get it cleaned up because we'll need to prep this a little bit different than the way we're gonna prep the plastic. We're gonna spray those with our mocha paint. And then last step, we're gonna pull the light housing out. That way we can further deep clean this panel. We got a flathead screwdriver. Looks like we've got a little tab right here that we can push to release, or not push and release at all. Okay. Oh, the housing doesn't come out, the lens comes off. My apologies on that. The lens comes off, not the housing. We'll clean that as well. So at this point, we can start deep cleaning our door panel. You don't want to saturate this thing. You just want to use enough cleaner and a soft bristle brush, you know, to get down in the grain and the texture of the panel, to get down in your cracks and your crevices. You also want to have some compressed air ready. That way you can kind of you know, blow all your nooks and crannies out. That way none of that sits down in there. So we'll get rolling on that. Typically what I do, I like to work in sections. I don't like to spray the whole panel. Just a preference of mine. Got a little boar's hair brush here. It's soft, does the trick. You gotta kind of have to go in circular motions. If you had more or less like a fingernail type brush, it would do a little bit better just because it has shorter bristles. But regardless, we're still able to get down in here and agitate all this years of dirt and grime, because I guarantee you this door panel has not been cleaned like the way we're cleaning it right here. So now what you'll do, we'll start out with a dry towel. We'll soak up the majority of the cleaner, dirt and debris that's been lifted from the surface. And then the next step is we'll take another microfiber towel, we'll dip it into some water, wring it out. This here is going to neutralize the cleaner. Grab our compressed air. And judging already, we've knocked a lot of that shininess down. That's oils and dirt and debris over time accumulating. So rinse towel goes back in the bucket, and then you'll continue that process over the entire door panel. All right, so for the carpeted section down here, all I did was hit it with some compressed air to kind of fluff the fibers back up. Then you can kind of take your damp microfiber towel, kind of give it a once over. And then as we let the fibers dry out, we can come back and we can, you know, reposition them to where they look nice and symmetrical. So the last 2 spots we have this area here, which is gonna be tricky because we have that screen material that's on the back of that. And then we just have to get the cavity in here real good. So we'll keep going. All right, so from the back side of this screen piece, boar's hair brush, and I'm just gonna go make several passes. I just have a little bit of all-purpose cleaner on my brush, I don't want to saturate this area. Just want to agitate with enough cleaner to clean and lift any of this dirt and debris out of this screen. Soak this up with our dry microfiber towel. You can see the dirt and crud off that thing. Okay, flip the panel over. Oh yeah, great improvement, great improvement. Now we'll clean the front side of it. All right, we'll wipe our cleaner up first, the dry one, just like we've done across the entire panel. Then we'll hit it with the wet one. All right, so now I'll take my compressed air real light and just blow the some of the crud that's sitting on top of that screen back through. You don't want to have the PSI too high right there because you may run the risk of damaging that screen. Lightly go over it with the wet. And then I'm going to take a clean microfiber towel and mop up the rest of this. So we're actually going to clean this with our solution and a gray Scotch-Brite pad, because we are going to hit this with some paint here in just a second. Get our brush to get down into the screw hole. All right, so we'll go ahead and repeat the same process we've been repeating. Dry towel first, followed by your damp towel. All right, we'll set this aside, we'll let it air dry, and then we'll get our speaker grill cleaned up. We'll come back, prep and paint that. This is dirty. We'll probably have to run this one under some water to fully rinse it. Oh, you can see it, look at that. How dirty that water is. All right, we'll hit the back side of the metal faux wood grain. All right, I'm just gonna clean the back side of this and we'll wipe the front side. We don't wanna scratch it up. I'll probably just dunk this one in a bucket, rinse it off. And depending on how dirty your stuff is, dang, look how bright that got, or clear, dirty. Depending on how dirty your stuff is, you have to switch your bucket out. All right, we'll air dry this. A lot of water. Now what I'm gonna do here, I'm a little particular. Just gonna take some masking tape and we're gonna mask the areas underneath here that we don't want paint on. Like I said, you don't have to be too critical with this, but if you're wanting to try to preserve a lot of the OE, you just wanna kind of mask this off. Probably not gonna stick to this foam anyway. So I'm just gonna mask the majority of the plastic base. Not go too crazy here. Got our back side taped off. Now we will wipe this with some vinyl prep. Vinyl prep will help soften, clean and soften this piece. That way when you spray your top coat or your color, it'll help absorb into the armrest base. And if you notice, I have nitrile gloves on, that way I don't transfer any body oils back to the part. I'm going to paint the kind of the underside first. This is called cutting in the part, well ventilated area. We just want to apply a medium wet coat. Work your way around it. So now we'll spray. I've already put just a real light coat on the upper portion here, the armrest base. So we'll go back over it with a medium wet. And this should be all we need. That looks really good. Wow, that looks exceptional. Okay, we'll set this aside, we'll let it dry. Because I think what we wanted to do, I think we wanted to just dust this top area. It gets kind of sun beat. And what I mean by dust is what we'll probably do, we'll probably just pick an area like right here, since we already have our speaker grill pulled out. We'll probably use this section to mask, and we'll just basically run some tape along this area here, and then kind of just put some drop cloth over the rest of the door panel. I mean, could we serve to paint the whole panel? Sure. If yours are too far gone, yes, that's what you're going to have to do. So if you did have to do that, you would have to mask off this area here, kind of the dust seal, the carpet area, your courtesy or puddle light assembly. You could paint over this here if you wanted to. That wouldn't hurt anything. You would just have to make sure you prep it really, 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 really well. Plastic surfaces would need to be scuffed, obviously with a gray Scotch-Brite pad. Wipe it clean with some isopropyl alcohol or a plastic safe prep spray. And this right here, I would just lightly scuff as well with the gray Scotch-Brite, because that paint would fill in any minor imperfection. I mean, you don't want to sit there and dig, you know, you just want to let that Scotch-Brite do the work. To just lightly abrade that surface, that way the paint has something to bite to. So we're just going to blend this top section, and we're going to call that good. So what we will have to do first, we'll have to come up under here and pull or remove our little bezel. Let's see here, you can kind of just work your plastic pry tool. Just be gentle and don't go at this thing like a bull in a china closet. Okay, got that off. And then now what we'll do, come in with our gray scuff pad. And like I said, I'm gonna let it overhang some over towards that direction. That way we don't, you know, have to get up on our table. Get up in here with our gray Scotch-Brite. This is what we're using. That's just a bottle mixed with Dawn dish soap and water. Nothing too crazy, nothing too special. So we'll go to about right there. Since that's so thin, that'll blend, that section will blend really well. Come back, we'll wipe up our residue. And then for this here, since we're spraying plastic, we'll want to use a plastic safe prep spray. I've always used isopropyl alcohol. It's worked great for me over all the years. Spray away glass cleaner is another one that would work. And if you want to know if something's plastic safe, test it on the back side of the door panel. That way if you damage something back here, that's not going to see that. Versus if you just go straight to hee-hawing, you know, you'll mess up the front side of the panel. Okay, we're going to take our fine line tape. We'll start masking right here at this insert. Okay, and then now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna run the length of that insert, since our faux trim piece will cover this area here, so we don't have to micromanage that spot. Keep it going all the way across if we can. No, we'll have to stop. Golly. Learn to tear your tape, Landon. I've only done it 1,000 times. Go ahead and fold that over. We'll come back with another piece with our masking paper. All right, new piece. Gonna get a little bit more surface area here on the panel for it to grab to. This is definitely the slow way of doing this, but I feel like most of you are gonna have to do it this way just because we're not gonna have the same tools and stuff that a body shop has. Because you can buy this paper with tape already attached, or a machine that applies it for you. Okay, got our can shaken up. We're just gonna dust it real lightly. And this paint lays really, really good. All right, that's about all we need. This is also a testament of the matchability of our paint, is being able to blend it like this. Because even looking down this side here, you can't even tell where the blend is, where we dusted it. Now, with that being said, depending on the severity of your panel, if this thing's just too far gone, it's just, I mean, thrashed on, man. You'll have to, like I said, you'll have to spray your whole panel. All right, so what we're doing here, we've got a microfiber towel and some all-in-one polish. And I'm just going over our metal trim here with the faux wood grain. And it's getting a little bit of the scratches out, the light ones. I mean, if they're deep, you know, gouges or something, you're not gonna remedy that. But the main goal here is just to brighten this piece up. And really any all-in-one polish will do the trick. It has cleaning ability in the forms of micro abrasives, and of course the chemical makeup of those polishes help clean the surface as well. But I can already tell you just by looking at this thing that it's brighter. Got that done, we'll set it aside. All right, we let our door panel dry. We're gonna go ahead and pull off our tape and our masking. That looks really, really good. Okay, so the next steps for us, clean out our little bezel here for the lock rod. Dang, that thing is tight in there, man. This has no orientation. Just push it into place. Next, we can install our speaker grille. Just want to align it with all of our tabs. Okay, now we'll flip it back over. Take our tape off of the armrest base. We'll have to hold it by hand from the front side while we just like so. And then what I'll do, I'm just going to start the easiest screw, which I believe was, I think, back here. Yeah, we'll just start the rear screws. There's 2, 3. When you look at your door panel, you'll see the 6 fasteners. Now the one last thing we could do, we could take the towel and kind of just wipe up some of the dirt and stuff within the door panel. Of course, if you really wanted to, you know, before you did any of this, you could take it out and you could have blown all this out with some compressed air, but ours really isn't that bad. Okay, the last thing we would have to do would be put the lens back on the courtesy light or the puddle light. We're gonna leave this off because this truck didn't have a bulb in it. So whenever we get the door panel reinstalled and get the socket screwed back into the housing, we'll put a bulb in it and then we'll put this on. So that can be installed whenever you reinstall the door panel. All right, door panel flip back over. We're gonna reinstall the metal trim with the faux wood grain. And because of the way we had to do this, we're gonna have to be real careful and kind of micromanage it going back in. All right, we got that started. Now we can angle the end pieces. If we need it to, we can kind of help use a flathead screwdriver to get us in that direction. Gonna kind of have to tango with it a little bit. Have to hold it just right and work it in. Okay. And we can roll the other tabs back into their spot. Okay, pull it back over and reattach the tab. Start here on the end. You'll want to keep pressure on the metal trim piece with your free hand, and then use the flathead screwdriver to roll these tabs back around. These, remember, we didn't mess with, but the way they're situated now, they're on top of our repair or reinforcement bracket, which before they were underneath. Okay, and then that's this last center one right there. Or no, there may be 2 more. Yeah, right here. Okay. And then remember the end ones had these push type retainers. So we'll reinstall those and fold that tab down. All right, everybody, so that's gonna wrap this one up. It's probably a little bit long-winded, but stuff like this is, just know you'll need to set aside some time, kind of assess all your stuff, kind of get you a good game plan going into it on kind of how much work you wanna put forth. For us, this meets our expectations for what we're doing. Could we always, chase perfection? Absolutely. But like I said, for what we're working with, this is right on the money. While I'm on this topic, these little door panel push pins, keep in mind that when you remove the door panel, you'll probably have to replace those. We got lucky, all of ours stayed attached, but we'll probably replace those anyway. Again, door panel removal and installation video in the description, along with some other videos as well, kind of related to this area. So as always, hope y'all found some value in this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications. That way you're notified every time we release something new. And until we catch you in the next one, y'all know what to do for all things 92 to 96 Bronco. Keep it right here with the real enthusiast, LMR.com.